it is indeed an honor to be accepted to institution as prestigious and as selective as Harvard, that has a huge legacy, and an even greater honor, to be chosen by the student body to lead it, to represent its issues, and to be, not just an ambassador for the Harvard community, but also for, people of India. And it is always a responsibility to be in any leadership position, whether you are a class monitor or a student government president at that level. So of course it was a great experience, learning experience. Many times you have decisions where it takes a lot of time, and many times you have people who are very passionate about different issues. So bringing everybody along, taking them forward, it was quite a learning experience, and I am one of the privileged few who got the opportunity.
So moving forward to the next question. So what advice do you have for an MBA student seeking to make a meaningful impact?
We need to merge our educational life, our educational journey, with our national life and national journey. That means the skill set that you have acquired as an MBA candidate or as an MBA student, you have to see where in society can this come to meaningful use, to purposeful use. And you see there are so many people who have been able to do that. India is better off as a country today because young people have been able to put their skills and their education to use in our national journey. So we should see where do we contribute in the family, what kind of siblings are we, where do we contribute in the community, what kind of local role models are we, where do we contribute in the office, and much of this contribution is directly in the work that we do, but as much as outside of it, our willingness to be there for people, our willingness to open a few doors, our willingness to coach, mentor, take people along. And this is a way of life, and the more you have that, the more grateful you are in life, and the more purposeful you are in life. So that's a part of healthy life that everyone should follow.
So
or try to.
if I may ask for an add-on question, like at your position right now, so how do you tackle, like how do you balance your personal life and your work life?
The personal life is the work life. I am one of the fortunate few who got started with their journeys, like Dexterity, the organization that I lead today. I started at the age of 16, and ever since the idea has been very clear. If there are young people and if there are opportunities, they should not be in two separate compartments. Young people should have access to those opportunities, and to further that, they should have access to training that allows them to perform at all levels. So now this is something that I've been doing for last 16 years now, entering 17th year in one day. So there has been no separation as such. That work is joy, that work is, it's part of life. So I don't see it too separately.
So as an interviewer, if you are interviewing for any positions, so what skills would you actually what skills would you actually have and you want a person to have?
I would look for coachability. How coachable is the person?
Coachability.
So when somebody comes into an organization, when somebody comes into an institution, and it can be in any field, how coachable are you? Your willingness and ability to learn. And here willingness becomes much more important many times. People are very receptive to critical feedback in the beginning, but then they begin to be intimidated by it, tired of it, and so on and so forth. So a very good leader is going to be a very good learner. So how coachable are you? How much you'll come into an organization, come into a system, and that is what I think young people should try and project, that hey, there are 10 things that I know, but I know that there are 10 million things that I don't know. But if I'm given the right set of resources or people, I'm going to learn those things very quickly, and I'm going to be able to contribute to the organization. I'm going to be an asset to it. So that's one important factor to put out there.
So there's a saying as the sales, you should have a sales in any field. So is it a myth or is it true?
What do you mean by sales?
Sales as in before you do work, you have to first do the sales in any field.
SALES, sales.
SALES, yes.
Yeah, ever since we were kids, we have been trying to sell, right? That we need a particular chocolate or ice cream, we need some time off, we need, our kind of food and all those things. So you're always trying to, sell something. Many times yourself, many times your idea. You want your friends to go to the picnic that you want them to go to. You want your parents to listen to, this new creative plan that you have. So you are continuously doing that. See, a lot of things are comprehensive. They come together, they merge, and they become one. While training or while thinking, we can see them in isolation a lot. But once you get going, it's not, so much in isolation. It is like in sports. You train for speed, you train for strength, you train for endurance. But if those are A plus B plus C, essentially your sports performance is not A plus B plus C. They all come in, and as an overall athlete, now you are in the sport and you are playing it. So sales, communication, analytical thinking, all these different things, they come together, and then now you're playing as one whole unit. So of course one should, keep in mind the sales part and everything, but you've got to learn the ropes of what you're doing, and you have to do a good job at it.
So moving forward to the next question. So what qualities or skills do you believe are crucial for the MBA student for aspiring or taking a specifically leadership role?
Swami Vivekananda talked about servant leadership. Robert Greenleaf, later in business schools, talked about it, through a book. The approach to servant leadership is where everyone who's reporting to you, you are also responsible for them. You're responsible for their growth, you're responsible for taking care of them, so on and so forth. So one should be a servant leader mindset. The leader as the servant. Swamiji talked about dasasya dasa, servant of the servant. So those who if you have been put in a position, the more you can take care of every person on the unit, the more your team is able to deliver, the more authentic your leadership is. So one, of course, is being a servant leader. Communication, I would say, is an extremely critical, crucial, important, significant thing that every MBA candidate should be working on, for that matter, everyone. Because many times you'll be communicating very, very difficult to digest decisions, ideas, and just being a good communicator helps so much. Take people along, keep them positive, keep the trust going, and that's the reason why I think, yes, an overall approach as a servant leader, but at the same time being a very good communicator, and keeping in mind that your ability to gather the necessary information to make a decision is should be on point at all times, as much information as you need to make a decision, because majority of the times as a leader, as a manager, you will be dealing with things that you do not know enough about. So how do you gather that information? How do you get the right people in the room and then make the decisions that you need to make? So making informed decisions is not an easy thing, and that acquiring that information is even more critical. So those things have to be kept in mind.
So as a student of MBA, so most of the people have the myth of the 9 to 5 job is very tiring, and there should be only 9 to 5 and not above that or like below that. So as in your career in the starting, how did you manage it?
Oh, I live a 24-hour life, and I understand and recognize that I founded the organization, so I am doing what I am doing. At the same time, there is something I do want to say without getting caught up in the entire controversy that begins around these things. There is no substitute to hard work. So, we all get tired and we all build our endurance for it. If we thought that way, we would have never started walking, because crawling was a lot more convenient than walking. We would have never run, because walking is a lot more convenient than running. We would have never rushed, because running is a lot more convenient than rushing. But the thing is, we build an endurance for it, we build an appetite for it, and for that reason it is important to do things that you like to do, maybe, because you get really quickly tired when you are doing things that you don't really like doing. So that's where my remark is, that if we talk about hard work or getting tired, everything we have learned and acquired, the language that we have learned, the skills that we have learned, basic things as walking, basic things as taking care of ourselves, these were all tiring and tough at one point in time, but we built endurance as young kids, as young adults. There are next levels of endurances that we need to build, and this is one of those.
So last but not the least, the question, how do you like a fest?
Oh, I very much like it. I love the fact that it has Swami Vivekananda's name to it. Swamiji is an absolutely important icon for the world. There are so many people, from French Nobel laureate Romarola to Nikola Tesla to so many others around the world and in our country, who were inspired by Swami Vivekananda. His literature inspires the world, and when there is a literature festival named after him, I think it is a unique opportunity for the young and the old, those who read and not as much, or for all of them to come here and meet with inspirational people and have this constructive dialogue and take it, not just leave it here, but take it back to their homes, their study rooms, and places where they go. So I love the name of the fest, I love the purpose behind it, and I wish everybody here all the very best for future editions. I know this is edition 9, and may there be many more. And thank you for having me. Great hard work. I appreciate everything that everyone has done behind the scenes and in front of it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you and namaste.